Hey, this is Jamey from Stonemaier Games, and I'm really excited to talk to you about my favorite mechanism in First Ascent. This is a Kickstarter that I backed a while ago. I've been really looking forward to play it, and I just played it for the first time today with a total of 3 players, and I've really enjoyed it. I have a feeling this game might have flown under the radar, might continue to fly under the radar, but it's really good. Both if you're into rock climbing, or if you just like really good set collection games where you actually get to progress during the game, which doesn't always happen in set collection games. So in First Ascent, you are climbing a mountain. It's a competitive game. You are rock climbing. You're not hiking. You are rock climbing up a mountain. There's two different sides of the board. You're going to put out a bunch of tiles on this board at the beginning of the game to show you the types of different routes that you can choose from as you move up this mountain. And getting to the top isn't necessarily the goal. You can move around. There are different goal cards that you can use to gain points. So you are ultimately gaining points. If you get to the top, you gain an extra point. Also, there are points on every tile that you move onto, that you move through, which I think is great. The points are equal to actually the number here. This isn't the tile. Here's what a tile kind of looks like, and this tile is worth 1 point if you move through it. And you track that by putting, and this is such a clever component choice, putting these little ropes. You can see these are flexible. These are flexible little kind of nylon ropes, like similar to, except a lot thinner than actual climbing ropes that you use when you rock climb. And so you put that on the tile itself to show that you've moved through it, and then it's easy to count up points at the end of the game. I think that's such a clever component choice, and it's kind of nice that you're not really having to deal with a victory point tracker tokens during the game. You can focus on the interface of the game itself and what you're actually doing. So I think that's really cool. That's one of the ways to get points in the game. You can also get points by, I'm kind of explaining the game here, but you can get points by completing shared objectives. Like in our game, an objective said that if you move up a certain number of spaces on the north ridge of the board, then you get some extra points there. There are also personal goals. Really clever touch here for personal goals. At the beginning of the game, you get 2 random personal goals. But you only score one of them. And the game doesn't make you choose at any point during the game which one you want to choose. It's just at the end of the game, you pick one of them and you score that one. How nice is that? Like, instead of having to choose at the beginning of the game or even discarding in the middle of the game, just wait till the end of the game and choose the one that works best for you, or that worked out best for you. I really like that. Let me go ahead and talk about my favorite mechanism before I ramble too much about this game. There's also some good asymmetry in the game. Every player has a mat that looks like this. You have a mat that looks like this. So there are essentially 4 different core skills, or 3 different skills and gear cards that you're using throughout the game to move onto these routes. So on your turn, if you are choosing to climb on that turn, and say you have a route that looks like this. Here's one. We'll say this one. This route needs you to use 1 gear, a green skill, 1 of any skill, and 1 of the water. You have some resources, water and psych, that you can spend during the game. So you will place cards on this mat, and you'll spend the water token elsewhere. But you'll place cards here equal to the gear and the green, and then you choose 1 of any. Say you put a purple card here. And each of these cards at the base of the card, at the bottom of the card, let's see if I have an example here, has a little icon on it. So there's a little bit of a kind of temporary set collection here. There's a little icon there on some of the cards. And so if you can manage to put cards on your mat where you get to see at least 3 of the same icon, you get a bonus of 2 points for that round. So you're kind of showing off a very specific level of expertise. So that's one of the ways that you're also getting points from the game. But the coolest thing, I'm building up to the coolest thing here, which is at the end of each turn, there's a phase, or really during each round, there's a phase of that round where you look to see if you have at least 4 cards in one of these categories. And if you have at least 4 cards in one of those categories, you can discard 4 of those cards and gain a permanent skill or gear token of that choice, and you put them up here. This is the progression element of the game. From then on, so if I say I stack up 4 green cards here, in the middle of the round, I discard those 4 green cards, I gain a green skill token and put it here, and for the rest of the game, I have that green skill whenever I want to use it. It doesn't go away, it's permanent. Basically, I've used this skill category enough that I have mastered it to a certain degree, and now I have that sense of mastery from the token. You can even do it multiple times. You can play a bunch more green cards and get another green token up there. This reminds me a lot of, I don't know, like fantasy games where you are leveling up, you're gaining experience in the game, and that experience in this game is manifested simply by doing the thing, simply by using that skill, that green skill, that purple skill, what are they called? Face skills, crack skills, slab skills. Simply by using those skills, you get permanently better at doing that thing, doing that skill category. I think that is brilliant. I think that's brilliant in this game. I think it would be brilliant in any game where you're kind of leveling up the abstract nature of XP. Instead of like gaining XP in an abstract nature, just do the thing multiple times and get better at it as they've done in First Ascent. I think that's brilliant. Also, one little fun thing in the game, I think, is that after you attempt to climb, and it's not really an attempt, you can choose to have a little risk element to it, but there can be no risk at all when you choose to climb up a rock face. You can discard exactly what you need to get up there. But at the end of doing that, you always draw a climbing card. There's this big stack of climbing cards, and this kind of adds to the a little bit of the flair of the game, the fun of the game, the personality of the game, some of the memorable moments. And so, for example, let's see if I can find... So here's one that we had come up in our game. In our game, a peregrine falcon delivered a water-filled cactus. That one's a little outlandish, but there are other things like here's one that's freezing cold, or sun beats down, or... let's see, I had one fun one. Here's one. If you've hiked, you've probably had this happen. Squirrels eat your snacks. And when you draw one of these cards, you have to choose one of the two options that you can actually pull off. They often either help or hurt other players, or there's an option that only affects you, that type of thing. But these are fun. They're really well designed, and they really do add to the memorable moments that this game creates. As you can tell, I'm really excited about this game. I just played it. I can't wait to teach it to some climbing friends of mine and play it with them. But we had a blast, and I think these mechanisms work so well, especially this leveling up mechanism. That is so cool. So yeah, let me know if any of these mechanisms make you think of other games, or if you've happened to play First Ascent. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Thanks.